good break in there.
We need a good break desperately.
Yeah.
All right, appreciate everybody being here. Want to welcome Mr. Holmes. This is the first meeting here on the board. We appreciate you being here. Thank you. And we're missing a couple. I know that we've got a couple of people. Dr. Laura was in the hospital, and let's see, Ginger's son is in the hospital.
Dr. Pickle's out.
Dr. Pickle has been out. He's been in the hospital. So, and I've asked Mrs. Prince if she would open our meeting in prayer. So, let's see what her next.
We thank you, Lord, for who you are, for loving us, for being our God. We pray that you will watch over the time that we have together, and that you will bless this board and this school. And we just pray that you give us your wisdom. These things we pray in your name. Amen.
Thank you. And I'm sorry we're getting started a little bit late today, but we'll make up for it. All right, we need to, y'all had a chance to look at the board minutes from our last meeting. Y'all will take a look at that. Give you just a second to take a look. Let's have a look at that. I'll need a motion to accept. Got a motion, second. Jim, thank you. All in favor? Aye. Aye. Okay. Got that out of the way. Okay. Mr. Zoo.
Good evening, everybody.
Hello.
Cold outside, but my heart is warm. I would like to have the auditor present the draft audit for the fiscal year ended 2017-18 first. So then after she can leave early to take care of her family, then I will present the financial report to you all. Would that be okay? Yes. Right. Okay.
For those new board members to know, if you're fine, for the new board members is that we are audited annually as required by the state. And so this is our 6th or 7th audit that we've had. And so I don't want to take time, but this is a requirement that the state has for us.
I've actually been involved with all of them since the very beginning.
Yeah, I'm here from the Sun Frost Carry, the auditing form we've been using for many years. The good about the form is that the form is sizable enough. We were able to rotate the audit manager every few years, so that creates a good checks and balance segregation buildings. We were very pleased, and also it keeps the form. We have a consistent methodology, consistent work method, so it makes the audit much more smoother. Good note. Please.
My name is Emily Hill, and I work for Sun Frost Carry. We're a firm that have offices in Arlington and Fort Worth, and we audit nonprofits, manufacturing companies, charter schools, all types of entities. And right now we're trying to get all the calendar year 9/9s are due by November 15th, so things are a little crazy in the office today, I'm sure you can imagine. So this is the very last deadline if you extend it and extend it and extend it. But I'm happy to be here tonight just to share a little bit with you. So we were actually out with field work in the middle of October. So this is a really fast, extremely fast turnaround, especially to add the amount of information that's in here about bonds, to add all of that and do all the bond testing and get that turned around in about a month time frame. I'm really proud of the teamwork that we had to get that expedited quickly and get that to you guys before Thanksgiving and before school gets out. So I'm going to run through some high points. I'll let you ask me some questions. Feel free to stop me if you want to ask a question in the middle of somewhere. But just to kind of touch on the audit process in general, like Gene said, we work with Gene on a lot of audits, a lot of his organizations that he works with, so we are familiar with working with him. And the process goes very smoothly. I feel like we have a good working relationship, a good teamwork that we've built, and that's always makes the process much, much better and be able to go that quickly. Most of that credit's due to him. So the opinion page, I'll start with that. It's on page 1 and 2. We give our opinion that we state that your financial statements are in accordance with GAAP, and we give it the highest level of opinion, which is called an unqualified, just that we think your statements are in accordance with generally accepted accounting principles. The next few pages, page 3, 4, 5, 6, are the financial statements. Kind of highlight a few new things. So on page 3, you'll see you now have some restricted cash. You'll see the bonds are on there. One number that's kind of fluctuating more than normal is the accounts payable, and that really is just strictly due to construction invoices. So don't let that number alarm you that you have $1 million in accounts payable. It's all
That's the retainage.
It's all construction, and it's all getting paid timely. So no
Can I
worries
stop that?
on that note.
The retainage is the part that's a holdback, right?
Yeah.
So what it's saying is we paid everything we're supposed to pay, but we're holding back till the end of the completion.
And I think just the August invoice that got paid in September alone was like $700,000. So there's just that number is very heavy on construction. On page 4, you have your statement of activities. This is the revenue portion, and I just want to highlight that that number at the bottom, total revenue in support of $6.8 million, is an increase from last year's, which was $5.2 million. On page 5, you have the statement of activities. So this details all of your expenses. I'd like to draw your attention to kind of the middle of the page. You see a line that's called excess deficit of revenues over expenses from operations. A long term, just to say this is really what your true net income is from operations. It's that $600,000. The number below that is the loss on prepayment. That is related to a penalty that you incurred when you prepaid that old debt, and that's just considered a non-operating activity. It's an extraordinary item. You shouldn't consider that when you kind of look at, yes, you had a decrease in net assets for the year, but $900,000 of that was from an item that doesn't happen on a regular basis. It's kind of a very unique event that occurred. So I guess the true measure of your operations that had a increase would be that $600,000 number in the middle. Page 6 is the cash flows. Another number to kind of draw your attention to here is the net, in the middle of the page, the net cash provided by operating activities was $700,000. This is similar to last year's number, which was also in the $700,000 range. And that is always a good indicator of a healthy operating budget when you're producing cash and creating cash. And even considering all the other activities that happen during the year with the bonds and the debt repayment, that is a very healthy measure of an organization to have that much cash provided by operating activities. Total.
Can I ask you, the debt repayment was pretty hefty, wasn't it?
Yes.
The penalty was almost $1 million.
They stuck it to us at the end, but even with that, we still have. Yes.
So that number actually kind of comes out from considering what your net cash provided by operating activities is, and then we factor in that penalty down there in the financing section. So that kind of reflects all the bond activity. Any questions on those high-level financials? So the footnotes just really provide you with some additional information and detail that give you more detail on some of the numbers in the financial statements. If you turn to page 11, you'll see we detail what the restricted cash is for. That's bond and construction. We detail what types of property and equipment you have. On page 12, we get into all the heavy detail about the bonds, the repayments, the debt issuance costs, those amortizations. Your debt repayment schedule is on page 13. That details how many years and at what amounts you'll begin repaying those bonds. On page 13, you can see, so in 2019, you don't have a principal payment, just interest. You won't begin making those principal payments until 2020. And we added this new note about the Texas Credit Enhancement Program, that TCEP grant. It's going to allow you to make use of some of those debt reserve costs, and you detailed that kind of that grant you received right there. The next few pages go through healthcare information, some leases, contingencies, future payments and future rent revenue. And then the last few pages talk about the compliance reports, and then we have some required supplemental schedules. So the TEA requires you to put some information in their coding and put that at the back along with the budget schedule. You can find that in the back of the report. And this compliance report, in short information, tells you we did not determine any material weaknesses or significant deficiencies, and that is a good thing. So,
At all.
yes.
Awesome.
Wonderful.
Any questions on that? I know that was really fast and high level, but it's all good. And if you have questions, feel free to email me, and you can put you in touch with me if you have any questions on some of that information
we
in detail.
have another reason to be thankful to her, besides just doing a good audit, is that she recommended to me Jean. And through her, we were able to get Jean to fill that position, but she's the one that had recommended us to talk to him. So that's been a very positive thing. Thank you.
And
All around.
the firm has a very good group of much higher level CPAs on the same firm. I work with about 3-4 different CPA firms. There's some firms you just have to get outside opinion about the bond. We spend a lot of time with my colleagues on bond notes, bond write-up, in the footnotes. Not only having a correct number on the balance sheet as well as income statement, but also what we try to represent not only to TA, but also now we got a bunch of investors looking at our audit. As soon as the audit is uploaded to the TA portal, we'll turn around upload to the bond portal as well. So they will see it. So you really want an investor to look at each number on the balance sheet and income statement to be able to find a footnote corresponding with those numbers in there, in the audit body. So that's very important, because if they start asking questions, they couldn't find those numbers, guess what? We cannot even answer those questions. We have to write a formal letter to upload to the portal, because we have to treat all investors the same. We cannot answer any individual emails by SEC rules. We cannot treat them as an inside trade people. It's very sensitive. Now we got a public bond in the market, so we have to be conscious about what we post on the portal.
So Emily, when will you do your next audit?
A year from now.
Okay, so
yearly.
it's just one audit?
Yes, in
One
October.
annual audit a year?
Yes.
Okay. Got it.
Yeah.
And the other thing too, normally she doesn't get this out till the January meeting, but the January meeting is the last time this board will be able to see it, so it puts it under a real crimp for y'all. So as a request of us, she's put this on fast track to get it so that you won't have to deal with that in January in case something happens.
We're 2 months ahead.
Yeah, you're 2 months ahead. So she did that as a favor to us.
Thank you.
So
Thank you,
again,
that's great to
we had
have
a
it
good
early.
partnership.
Had a good team. We wouldn't be able to do that if we didn't get us the information quickly, and have it all accurate. So it really, was a good team effort.
Thanks for coming.
Thank you. We can't do it alone. We can't audit anything without what you provide us. And what you provided was clean. That's an added benefit. Okay, I'm going to run briefly through this letter and kind of inform you on some upcoming financial statement changes. First, on page 2 of this letter, this is really just standard wording that kind of tells you about the audit process. There's one kind of important section on page 2 that highlights journal entries. That's just a common question we get is, okay, you did an audit, what kind of journal entries did you have? All 3 of these journal entries had to do with the construction, and capitalized interest. So these are new things kind of going on and nothing to do with your daily operating activities and reporting of journal entries that happen on a daily basis. These are all very isolated type journal entries that happen once a year. So I wouldn't be too alarmed about any of this, and that's easy for us to kind of come to an agreement on what those should be. So in this exhibit on page 4, some of the new accounting standards that are getting released are going to impact how your financial statements look and what they say. And I just want to keep you informed on those changes coming down the pipeline. Most of these aren't going to be effective for a couple more fiscal years, but it's good to go ahead and know how they're going to impact your financial statements. So the net asset classification terminology is changing right now. You call it temporarily restricted, permanently restricted. It's going to become with restriction and without restriction. Still a lot of the same meaning, just we're going to call it something different. Investment return is going to be reported net of the expenses. You will have to present a statement of functional expenses if you haven't before. The cash flow statement has some different requirements. Probably the most impactful to you is going to be this last one, liquidity. There will be a new footnote that will document what your liquidity is. I think that's going to be, so on a normal, if you were a nonprofit, they had a lot of restricted donations and endowments. You would have to pull those out and show what your liquid assets were. You guys don't have as much of that going on, so I think it's going to be pretty clear cut of what most of your cash is going to be pretty liquid. I don't think that footnote will be too impactful. And then in a couple more years, there's a lease standard coming, and the lease standard is a big change to the industry. This will affect all types of organizations. So leases are going to go from an income statement transaction to a balance sheet transaction, and you'll enter a right-of-use asset and a right-of-use liability, and you'll amortize those off as the lease goes on. We're all still learning this. We were hoping they wouldn't actually do it, and it looks like it's happening, so we are still learning. It will be a big change. We've implemented that already on some clients, so it's by the time we get to you, we'll know what we're doing. But it's a big change and something to think about. You guys don't have that many leases, so shouldn't be too much of an impact, but definitely a different looking balance sheet when you see leases on a balance sheet instead of in an income statement. So, any questions on those? Thank you guys for your time. We need to have
We need to have a
go for
motion
approval.
to full
I brought the
yeah.
signature pages if we want to go there.
I have those.
Motion to approve the audit.
Oh, okay. Okay, do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the audit.
Okay, Mr. Prince, second.
Second.
Okay, thank you. Drew, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay. All right. Jean, okay. Emily, thank you.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
And
Thank you,
and
Julie.
another note about Emily is, she was a student of yours, wasn't she?
She was in our program.
There you go. So,
Wow.
Amen.
there you go. Another good decision, huh? Good job. Thanks, Emily.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
everyone. Appreciate it.
Also, too, you have a copy of this draft of the audit. I read it last night. She pretty much summarized every single thing that's in there, but you're welcome to do it. And if you have a question, you want to bring it up, you can bring it up at a later date. So you have a copy of everything she talked about.
Email me any questions that come
Okay,
up.
good job.
Thank you, Emily.
Hi, Emily.
Are you going to scan me those, Jean, or are you going to wait for them?
I scanned it back to
Okay,
you.
perfect.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, and then we'll let Jean
Yep.
go over the dashboard with us.
For those of you that are new to the board, is that we developed a dashboard of what the state looks at, and it's green, red, and yellow, so it makes it real easy. But there's 19 parameters that they really look at, but these are the 4 that they really focus in on. So the front one is the dashboard, which is the report, and then he'll report back to by facility being Duncanville and Dallas, and also as a composite of the whole thing. So for those of you that are new.
When Emily mentioned about the liquidity, so to make your quick note, the audit and financial you just approved, we had a little bit over 100 days cash on hand. The TA benchmarks only reached about 60 days. So we're way ahead of the game.
Wow.
Kudos to Mike and Taylor, their leadership at the campus level. I'm just a number keeper. I don't I don't make numbers, I just keep the numbers. They are the one making the impact, yeah. In your financial package, we provide a standardized financial with a dashboard, starting a dashboard, and we have the income statement running through October the 31st, and the balance sheet corresponding to that same period. If you look at your dashboard, the first indicator on the left upper corner, we ended about $76,000 surplus, and ending October 31st. And if you add back the depreciation, we're at $112,000 operating surplus. So which is way ahead of the game to meet our goal of about a little over $350,000 surplus when we approved the budget back in July. Actually we approved the budget in June, right? Very early, yeah. The cash we have on the books as of October 31st is 208 days cash, which is fabulous. Outstanding. So we continue to monitoring the administrative ratio, which we hope we can get somewhere close to 15%. That's our goal, to make about 10 points of the charter first indicator. I'm actually contemplating if we can change the student to staff ratio indicator to another indicator. I propose probably change it to a debt service coverage ratio, since now we have debt. That particular indicator, we never had any problem for so many years. So I don't know if there's a reason to keep that indicator instead of probably change that to a debt service indicator next time.
Probably a good idea.
Yeah, just since now we have a debt, right, we need to make sure we have a coverage ratio that meet and exceed the covenants. We continue performing very well on the current ratio. We're at 2.62 ending October. So that means we have a $2.6 to pay every dollar of debt we have. We really don't have much footnotes there, except that you presented the draft to you all, and you just proved the FY 17-18 initial audit, which is excellent. We're a couple months ahead of the game. I have a couple more documents I need to put together before I send the final audit to TA for the upload. Any questions on the financial? Normally, we don't go into the detail on the financial, but we do have a new board member. I'd like to probably touch base on them very quickly. If you look at your packet, there's there's four pages after the dashboard. The first one you're looking at is the cash. The color one is the cash report. I wouldn't call it cash flow, but it's not really a cash flow, but it's cash account balance report. You're looking at that one. You can see we ended about $4.1 million cash in the bank. Just take you through the financial statement very quick. The first page of the income statement is we call it consolidated income statement. That's combined of Dallas campus and the Duncanville campus. So you look at the entire organization's income statement. We brought in about $1.3 million revenue, and we spent about 1.2. Where the benchmark should be somewhere around about 16%. So we're 2% ahead game on the revenue, and we spend a little bit more on the expense since at the beginning of the first quarter of the school year, you normally have a front-load expenditure. Okay. Then the following two pages are the Dallas and Duncanville income statement. You can see how each campus performed. The last page is the balance sheet. So again, I always want to make the board aware is that sometimes people ask me, Gene, your balance sheet number shows $3.9 million cash, but my cash flow shows $4.1 million. You're always going to have a small discrepancy there because what's in the bank is not necessarily going to be on the books because sometimes you cut a check, but people haven't taken their check to the bank yet. You have outstanding checks that haven't run through the bank system yet. So you would have, normally you will have a little bit more cash in the banking system versus what's on the books. I normally walk this through from the last year's audit, plus minus what we have in the system for this period, and create a balance sheet that's very similar to what you see, what you're looking at in the audit. So that way you have very consistent. And you will focus on. No, but this is not a system generated report. I create them myself. Any questions and comments?
Can you take a look at that on the assets, $26 million? You ever think that'd be the case?
Yeah, last year, I can tell you where you at last year. Last year, we're barely, we're a little bit less than $6 million company. So we literally had a $20 million asset as well as debt on the books.
So Gene, those non-current assets, do those change much until the bonds kick in?
Yeah, those are, when you talking about audit or financial?
The financials.
Which question?
Which line are you looking at?
I'm sorry, 12,131,735.
Oh, yeah. This number will continue to fluctuate because we're with the projects ongoing.
Okay.
That number, to answer your question, Mark, that number will go down.
Okay.
Yeah, that number will go down. So any saving or surplus or deficit will go up to the current cash and cash equivalent.
Okay.
The two big numbers, Mark, you're going to see is the $12 million is going to go down, but you're going to pick up the number on the construction in progress, the last line of capital assets. You see that number?
Yeah.
That's a portion of your building here, incomplete, sitting there.
Yeah, I got it.
Yeah, it's not on the depreciable asset yet.
That makes sense. Okay.
Okay, Gene, the debt service, before we took on a little debt service to the end of the year on this one based upon the bonds, but it was $330,000 and now we're paying about $500,000 when we're all in place. How much is the debt service?
$1.2 million.
So it's $600,000 more a year in debt service. Now,
But again, at that time, you're adding almost,
well, that was going to be my next
Yeah.
statement. I'm trying to read Charlene's mind here. Is how many students do we have to add to be able to hit the break even? Kayla can answer that question for you. How many?
We need to get to about 1,080 on this
That's right.
yeah.
campus.
And what are we?
To break
About
even.
200
Correct.
more students.
About 200
200
more.
more students.
Yes. Yeah. It's
Well,
very.
that's not this campus, it's 1,080 for the district, right?
Uh-huh.
Both
Yeah,
It's for the
campuses.
district.
Yeah,
Not just this.
right. But we want to have more than that because we don't want to just break even, so.
Right.
That's really not that many spread out over that many grades. That'll
It's not a
easily be
huge
achieved.
So you're saying that's doable?
It is.
Absolutely, yeah.
I'm going to tell you why in just a minute.
All right.
There you go.
Well, that completes my financial report. Thank you so much.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Gene.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Awesome.
The other thing too, so you'll know, the audit process when I got here was very painful, okay? And terminology wasn't even, do you remember the debates we had about depreciation and all those wars? And what Gene has been able to accomplish is when those people walk, we had two painful weeks. Now those people walk in, and you gotta remember, he's now added bonds that he didn't do in the past. And by the time they come in and get it done, they were gone in a week.
I think they were only here 3 or 4 days.
3.5.
Campus.
It's
Yeah.
because of the preparation, knowing what is gonna happen. And to get it clear, I mean, this doesn't have not one single blemish on it.
No errors.
For
in
an
it
audit,
at
that's
all.
unbelievable. And if I take you back to the time of 7 years ago, we had many blemishes. And so, thank you, Gene, for a great job.
Thank you.
Yeah, it was, thank you. And we have a good, capable staff here, and we do know what we have to do ahead of the game. We send out the bond document as soon as we close out the bond to the CPA, way ahead of time. So they have their team meeting, they have all their CPAs in the room, talk about this deal, the recording. I pre-recorded all the bond closing documents. So I send out all my trial balance there prior to the audit field work. So they already had all the data to test all the bond accounts and all that. So, now we have a very good trustee, I will tell you. Zion Bank was a new bank we've been working with for the past 3 or 4 years. They were very, very efficient. And when auditor was testing the bond accounts with them, because they have to do third-party testing beyond our reach. So that was very quick. Most responding are electronic, not like the old days we have to send a letter out to confirm all the balance and all that. Most of the stuff are done electronically.
Fabulous job.
Excellent.
Thank you.
All right, thank you, Gene. Okay, well, let's keep it rolling, and we'll give Mike 5 minutes or
Mike will be
so.
very short. Okay.
Oh,
Oh, yeah.
Do what?
To accept the financial.
oh, accept the financials that are reported. Okay. Do I hear a motion to accept the financials that Gene reported? All right, thank you, Dr. Connor. You have a second? Next reading. Thank you, Andy. All in favor? Aye. Okay. Financials are accepted. Now, Mike, you may start your.
Mike, you start mine. I want to give you a quick construction update in that we are 49% complete of the building as of a week ago. And we're well under 49% as far as the expenses go. I would venture to guess, though, they will come up quickly towards the end, so don't expect to have anything left over. There will be probably nothing left over. So anyway, everything's on. We went from right at the end of May to now we are at July, about the 10th. Okay, so we in our planning knew it was going to do that, but by August the 15th we're in school. So we're now getting into a real quick time. So if you have any connections with God and the rain, get them to stop. It's the rainiest month we've had. Now we're going into the coldest month we've had. We don't do anything halfway, you know. So anyway, but
And we're up on a hill.
And we're on a hill.
For
And
the
so
wind.
they're getting ready to start putting the brick up and the rock up. It's going to be a beautiful building. We've kept the integrity. Kayla's there. The team's been involved with it. It looks like we're going to get just what we want. Not one thing more, because just to give you some case, when we started planning this, was at $140 a foot. It's now over $200 a foot. So we had some allowances that we let in there. So part of the money that you see that we're also happy about is also going to be a backstop for, you know, did we get 200 students? Did we, you know, this kind of thing. So you just need to understand. We got the gymnasium. It's complete now, isn't it? If you haven't seen it, you need to go look at it. That was part of this construction. We rolled into it. We have a little bit to do in Duncanville. And so things are going well from a construction standpoint. Is that short enough? Next thing I want to do, though, I want to bring up to you is that I need to get a sign. And everybody's so excited. You've been excited about this sign since the day I got here. You wanted to be signed. Okay, it's time to get a sign. And what I'm asking you for is the approval, which is well within my limits, to go up to $70,000 on a sign. Now, we have been graced this evening by Jason Poole. Jason is actually the guy for the city of Dallas who inspects the signs. So we've been trying to figure out what we can get for the signs, okay? Now, we're currently on a PUD that says the restriction is much smaller than what we want, so just like everything else, we're gonna have to go back and ask for more. And Jason's working with us now. Those of you that know Lacey, she happens to be married to Jason, so we're glad about that Jason's here, and he's met with me today and talked about it. What I'm asking you for is the approval to go up to $70,000 on this sign.
Okay.
Okay?
A big electronic sign.
Big electronic.
No, I'm gonna hold
That
signs.
we can see from Arlington.
Right.
Well, before we start getting too crazy about it, I just need the amounts because Jason's going to tell us what we can do later on.
Okay,
Just
all right,
I need
so
approval to go up to 70.
Do we have a motion to give Mike the approval to go up to 70,000 on the signage?
Yeah.
Okay, Bruce makes that motion.
I'll
Donna
second.
seconds that. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
Okay, one last real quick note. Everybody, you know, if you remember Dr. Estes said we should have 5 schools in the first 5 years. I didn't know enough to say anything, but I've learned that that's pretty hard. So on the development side, y'all, I work for y'all in development and the building, and I have been meeting with, the problem is our success is our problem, because now I'm getting so many people want us to do a school for them. And there are tremendous opportunities out there. So I talked to Kayla, and my recommendation is, and you don't have to vote on this, I'm just making the ideas. Unless we get a school that is a school, currently a school, operating as a school, we don't do another school next year. We put it off one year. We have a school that's really is intensely wanting us to come, and we could do it. But I don't think it would be good to have to increase the enrollment in students and and teachers and do another one at the same time. So my recommendation is we don't do a new school that isn't already in place. Now, if there's a school that I am going to be talking to, hopefully, is a current school with teachers and students, I'll keep talking to them, but I'll bring it back to the board. It's the board's decision, it isn't my decision. And so, but I just want you to know the thought behind the process is, unless we're taking over a school, my recommendation is don't start another new one this coming
From
year.
scratch.
From scratch.
Right.
Yeah.
And there's a bunch out there that have nothing existing that want to start from scratch. We can't do that and all of this.
Right. And I don't think it will be wise to do that.
It wouldn't be wise.
So Kayla and I are working real closely, as you know how salesmen are, we can sell anything, but you got to operate it, and so we're cooperating with Kayla. It makes sense that we can actually, if we do this, we do it right. We've got a great reputation, we're in a great position, we're in the top 5 schools in the state, you know, we want to stay there. We shouldn't do this unless we do it right. So again, I go back, that would be my recommendation. You don't have to vote on it, but the window for doing a school is February, and you don't meet in December, so that would mean in January I'd have to bring forth a recommendation. And I'm going to tell you, I'm not going to bring it unless I get somebody that's in existence. And if they do, then I will be back in January. So that's it.
Okay. Any questions for Mike? As far as development goes, that's all good. It's good for our school to be noted. Okay. Kayla.
Okay, we're talking about new development and opening our new building. It's now November, and we have to have everybody in place and open the doors next August. So I wanted to share with you tonight a little bit about some of the things that we're doing to be able to make that happen. I think you all got the information that we were on CBS 11 with the pep rally, and I hope you were able to watch a little bit of that, because that footage was not about the adults here at this school. It was all about our scholars, our students who are doing so many great things. So when we got the call that they were interested in coming to our school, they've never had done a charter school, they've never done a school this small.
Wow.
My first thought was, oh gosh, another big thing to make happen. But it was really important for us because that was a great marketing tool for us that did not cost us anything at all except time and feeding breakfast to our students, which I committed to do for those that got up at 3:30 in the morning and came to school. So I thought that we represented ourselves really well. I thought our students did a really, really wonderful job of representing our school and the community and the family atmosphere. So that was a great marketing for us. I passed out a couple of other things. We did have an article in the Dallas Morning News just yesterday. That's the top thing on your little stack that Carolyn just passed out. So that was in the Dallas Morning News. The other thing that we have done that we think is going to be very effective is that we went into an annual contract with WFAA digital advertising. So this ad, the little color ad that you got, pops up on Facebook feeds, Pandora, lots of digital things that are going on. So just in the short time we've been running this ad, we have gotten over 3,000 hits, and over 30 of those hits went straight to our website and scrolled through our website to see what our school was all about. So that we really feel like that doing digital advertising is really the direction to go, because that markets our younger families who are looking for a place for their children. So we're going to be doing more of those kinds of things. This has been more successful than I thought it would be, just in a very short amount of time. So I'm excited about that. And then the last piece of paper you have is just a flyer that Anita Thompson, our HR director, developed because I've been working with her for us to have some on-site job fairs, because not only do we have to bring our students in, we've got to staff for next fall. We don't have a lot of success going to traditional job fairs because you know our school is different in the way we hire people. We have a lot of part-time people. We have a shortened school day. So when we go to a traditional, Mike knows because he went to a DBU job fair, and most of the people are looking for that full-time, job that they want straight out of college. So we need to market for our own school. We need to put the word out there that we're looking for great people who want a shortened day or a part-time teaching job. And so Anita and I are going to be planning some job fairs on our campus to get the word out there and hopefully draw some people that are interested in this type of schooling, not a traditional ISD schooling. So we're planning that. That date may change that's on that flyer. Anita did that just as a sample for us. But we will have at least 2 of those in the spring, starting probably late January, February, maybe more depending on the interest we get and how successful they are. So we will see how that goes. So just so you know all of those things are in the works. I am working hard with the principals every week. I cannot say enough good things about the team that we have. We are meeting weekly and working through a book called School Leadership That Works. So we're talking all about leadership. It's a research-based book, so we're looking at what really the research says about school leadership and what we ought to be, who we are, and we're trying to be really honest in our conversations about who we really think we are, our strengths and our weaknesses. Wouldn't you say? We're trying to take an honest look and see where we need to grow, because I always feel like that we set the culture of this school from the top down, and we need to be the leaders that this school needs in order for us to grow our teachers. That translates to growing our scholars. So it's just super important. So we have been doing that faithfully. And that really plays into the whole process of getting us ready to move into that new building, because we have got to get all of this in place. The marketing tool to bring the students, to market to the families that really are desiring this for their students, to the staffing, to the leadership that's in place, so that we can grow that leadership to be ready for all those new students that we are bringing in. Just some technical things about the building. I know Charlene and I talked some about, how are we going to make all of this happen? Just to put your minds at ease, Mike and I have been working on every detail that we can think of. Part of that is just the furniture for the building. So for over a year now, I've been meeting with our rep we've gone with Hertz Furniture, school furniture. We have, at this point, picked out every single item that is going in that building, down to the fabrics, the exact chair for each desk, room, everything. So everything has been chosen. That order will be placed either at the end of November or the 1st of December. So every single item that will go in the building will already be ordered. Hertz is going to house that furniture for us in their warehouse. He was kind enough to offer to do that so that the moment they give us the CO for that building, we can move the furniture in. So it'll be sitting in a warehouse waiting on us. So all of that is in order. The IT for the building, we have had conversations, continuing to have conversations. A few weeks ago, we had a meeting with Colin Harvey, who is our new IT specialist. And the hardware company that we're using and the software company, and we all sat in the room and went through down to where the internet connections are going to be and the walls with our construction crew. So we went through every room specifically what goes in that room, the IT, what are the needs in that room. So all of that is in the planning process and really is already decided. So we're working on that. Other things that we're working on, Mike and I continue to work on the relationship with Limitless Church, the church that leases from this building. I feel like that we've done a good job of repairing some relationship and building relationship. They contacted us about 2 weeks ago and said they wanted to bless some of our families. They're doing a Thanksgiving dinner giveaway. And so we were able to do a drawing and just draw names out of a hat and give those names to Limitless Church. And those families have been contacted, and we have just gotten the most encouraging messages back from the families about how much they appreciate that.
Wow.
So just trying to build a relationship there and work on that, because they are here too, and it's important for us to all get along and work together.
Along that same line, let me mention is that we met with Limitless to renegotiate their agreement, where we've always wanted more space and they wanted less payment, so we worked an agreement out between them that's we can present to you, but it reduces their payment by about $1,000. But if we had to go out and get the same space, we couldn't do it probably for $6,000 or $7,000. So it worked for both of us.
Yeah.
So the new relationship with the church has been very, very good.
It has been good.
It'd be nice to write a letter from the board thanking them for that relationship. We'll draft it for you.
Yeah, that'd be good.
Because it's totally different and it's better. Yeah.
A lot of improvement in that area. I feel like we've invested, and they have too, to make that happen. So I appreciate that. A couple of things to celebrate. Our football team just won the state championship for the Independent Bowl.
Awesome.
So congratulations to our football team. And our coach.
They won the whole state?
Yeah, state championship. Yeah, they did. So we are state champs.
Wow.
So we're very excited about that, and just
It's amazing.
when I think that 3 years ago, we just started our 6-man tackle team and we got clobbered that year. I mean, every game, to the point that I was scared to go because the boys were getting hurt. I mean, it was.
Well, sometimes the games would be over before you
Yeah.
got there, because at halftime there'd be some bad.
Yeah, we didn't really play.
That's
a
what
full
we do
game
now.
that year.
That's what we do now.
Really?
Yeah, oftentimes it's 50
Well,
to
because
0.
we're so far ahead
Wow.
in all
Yeah.
the game.
Yeah.
So we went from that 3 years ago to a state championship this year.
Wow.
So it's
Yep.
pretty exciting.
That is
We're
awesome.
excited
Right.
for our coach and our.
Maybe
and our
we're working out bad.
Yeah, I think all of us should get on it.
Another thing to celebrate is our food service just had an audit, and they received a 99% on their audit, so we're glad about that. And I did want to point out to you that Mike, I think, had this printed for you educational acronyms. If you haven't ever read these acronyms, I'm just gonna say I used to keep a cheat sheet in my drawer because when people would come in and talk to me, I would have to sometimes remind myself because it's a lot. But just for your information, I know you'll read that tonight before you go to bed.
Interestingly enough, we put that together Shannon and I put this together 7 years ago, and I think she knew all those terms by heart because they come in, I had no idea what they're talking about. So Shannon did that 7 years ago for me. So
Yeah.
that's awesome.
It's a little complicated, so sometimes when we're throwing things around, if you don't know what it is, you just ask, because it's a lot of acronyms. Okay, I think that's all I have.
Okay. I digress just a second. So, Kayla, I know that one of the things that you're gonna have to do is hire these teachers. And
Right.
so we need to have teachers in place by
We should have the teachers in place by June.
June. So typically, what is the teacher's contract from June to?
No, their contracts run from August to August.
August to August. And then.
But as a teacher, they're gonna start looking in late spring.
Yeah.
So that's, we've gotta really be prepared.
To be on our game. And then on the revenue side, for the students that aren't in place yet, when would we start gaining revenue?
Well, because we got that accelerated payment, we get paid, otherwise you get paid at the end once they get here, but this one will be paid in advance. That's why that was such a big deal, and we've got that through this coming year.
Okay.
So when we'll be paid by the time they hit the seat.
Yeah.
And that's when I did the debt that we got to start getting paid, when we got paid in the seats. That's why it kicks up in September.
Okay,
So we're all good.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah,
Okay.
no, we're in good shape.
Okay, good.
I have a
Okay.
question too.
Yeah.
So is it, obviously spreading the word and referrals are the greatest source of.
Word of mouth is
word of
the
mouth,
very
right?
best.
So with the parents, as we're getting the message out there, is it high school families that we're really wanting to? Or is it
No,
all
it's not.
grades?
It's all grades, because
Okay.
when we move the 7th through 12th graders to the new building, that will
Sure.
leave space in this building too.
Okay.
So we really want to grow K through 12. And Shannon, Duncanville campus too, not just here.
Right.
So it's all grades. And we will be sending encouragements to families, please,
Yes.
talk to your friends, spread the word that we're adding classes. I know a lot of parents are already doing that. We get calls all the time. Carolyn is our admissions director, so she gets calls all the time, and most of it is word of mouth.
Fantastic.
It's important.
You're mainly one part-time? Is that?
Well, most of our
Is that what I
teachers are
understand?
considered part-time because we have a shortened school day. So even our teachers who work 5 days a week, they're considered a part-time employee. They don't work 40 hours a week.
But here, you can get benefits at 10 hours.
Right.
So you get
Right.
full
I'm just saying,
benefits at 10
I'm
hours.
just saying, target market for that might be
Retired teachers.
retired teachers, but I don't know if, with TRS, does that cost you more?
It
You understand what I'm saying?
doesn't if
For
they set out 1 year, then it doesn't cost us more.
It doesn't cost you more?
No, if
you
they
don't have
sit out 1 year.
that bump or whatever it is?
Right, right.
Okay.
So really, we do really well drawing retired teachers. We do well drawing teachers who have small children because they want to be home with their own families. When we get to our secondary grades, most of my teachers teach Tuesday, Thursday, or Monday, Wednesday, Friday because we're on a block schedule. So it's truly a part-time job.
Okay. So, I guess that's what I was saying, either retire and then you didn't have that bump, or someone who has kids just starting school.
Exactly.
Probably would.
Yeah.
would be targeted.
Yeah.
Okay, let's, Drew, you got something to tell us about?
Absolutely. Well, I'll say this. I was one of those parents that got up at 3:30 in the morning and came down here, and I wouldn't have missed it. I would have missed it for the world. It was incredible. I mean, the energy, the kids. I was so proud of them. One of the proudest moments of my life, quite frankly, of my daughter. She's a cheerleader. She was on TV. I mean, it's amazing. So fantastic. Congratulations to all of you guys for being a part of that. wonderful. So I wanted to just quickly go over some past events that have happened and then some upcoming events. I do have this PAC report. It should be in your notes here. So we did have our Spirit Night, which was at Chick-fil-A on November the 6th. I certainly went and got my chicken. I know a lot of us did. Ms. Smith, do you know what the results were? I didn't hear back.
I don't think we've got the number yet.
Don't have the number yet. Okay. Well, great. It's a great fundraiser. Another one we talked a little bit about last time. It was the carnival, and I was at the PAC meeting, and everyone was gushing. It was such a well-attended event. They're estimating about 500 people attended this event, and it was both campuses. It was an effort for both campuses, which was wonderful to see. And all in all, we raised over $4,500. All of that money is going back into the school, into the teachers. And it went so well, we're now thinking about how we're going to do it next year and looking at the new campus and, you know, possibly using that as a venue both outside and inside, and really hoping for another great turnout. I had a chance to go to the Texas Charter School Conference. I know that Ms. Smith did as well, and it was a wonderful time, and I'm sure I'll be sharing some more things that I've learned as I went there, but did want to mention that. Some upcoming events is the Zoo Lights at the Dallas Zoo, and wanted to invite all the board members to that as well. That's going to be on the 30th of November. From 5 to 9 p.m. and it's going to be a great event, and it's really kind of an opportunity, again, for both campuses to come together and just enjoy a time. Be a great time. The Giving Tree, that is started. It started on November the 5th, and it's going through December the 14th. And this is an opportunity where 39 teachers have participated in this. So it's basically, you know, there is a tree. There's 120 items on that of items that these teachers have requested. So it's an opportunity for our parents to give back. And I know that there's already been a lot of participation, and very excited about that. One thing I wanted to mention too is I had a chance to meet with the PAC group at the Duncanville campus. So we set up a time to go out there and do that on November the 1st. So had a chance to meet with Katie Edwards out there and Amy Reese and several others. Great group. They love the school. They love the school, don't they? They're fantastic.
Amazing.
And we're gonna continue to meet together. Actually, on the 30th, we're gonna be getting together and creating a couple of videos just to maybe let the parents know a little bit more about the PAC and who these folks are and some events that are going on. So we're definitely excited about that. And I'll just close with that is, you know, one of the things that I wanted to do was really expand communication. So every month I create a video for the parents based on what we learn here at the board meeting. So there's a video that goes out for the Dallas folks here, and then we're creating videos for the Duncanville campus as well. So those are going out, and I've had a chance to interact with several parents and enjoying it. So thank you.
All right, thanks, Drew. Joan?
I'm Little Red Riding Hood, except for I'm not little and I'm not red. Just for a minute. Okay. So there we go. That's the big question. Okay, I'm going to be way shorter this week. I'm just going to share a couple of things with you guys. I was trying to think about what was really going on in the elementary world over the past few weeks, and it hasn't been that long since we had a meeting. And honestly, the thing that's been going on here for me has been teacher observations. We've had our formal observations the last couple of weeks. I'm almost finished with all of them. My goal is hopefully to be done before the Thanksgiving break. And it is just amazing. I can't say enough about the teachers here, what a joy it is to go into their classrooms. Shannon, a couple of years ago, maybe it was last year, came up with a self-evaluation form for them. So they're filling out an evaluation form, and then I'm filling out one. Then we're meeting after We have our observation to talk about what their strengths and weaknesses are. And it's amazing how open they are to, well, here's what I want to work on, and we can kind of compare notes, and it's really been a fun time. I look forward to finishing up this week, and that's been great. Okay, and then the other thing that I was going to talk to you about is we had a faculty meeting today, and one of the things that I did in the faculty meeting was I had gone to, with James and Shannon, we went to a principals convention earlier this year, I think it was in October. It was a staff development, and it was really, really worthwhile. They had lots of really good classes for us, things to do as new principals. In fact, I went to one, it was like the top 10 things to do as a new principal. And one of the sessions I went to was about school culture and making your teachers feel valued and what we can do to, pick them up on a regular basis so they don't get discouraged, and to let them know how much we appreciate them. And so one lady had made these little cards, little scratch-off cards, and I thought they were so cute. And so I took one from her session. This isn't it, but I Googled the little scratchy stickers, and they have them. You can Google anything, and Amazon had them. And so I made these little cards, and we gave them to the teachers today just to let them know how thankful we were for them. And underneath each little scratchy thing, I typed in different prizes. So they got like reserved parking for a week. And we're going to give them, we have reserved parking, we're going to share it with them and let them park in our spots for a week. Lunch for a couple of them, breakfast, and like a gene day, just some different things that we thought that they might enjoy. So it was just kind of a way to say thank you to them. So I also wanted to say thank you to our wonderful board. So I've made one for you guys, and that's what our basket is about. I'm going to give you a penny and scratch off your little turkey. Turkey Larky is his name. And then you can get a prize. You want to give a penny? Yeah. Okay, that's for you, Caleb. There you go.
I like this already.
Hey, you put something good under mine.
Well, I'm sure I did.
Oh, watch that,
There's
watch
one
that.
of them. Oh, there's one of them that says free bird. See, oh, that's not good. There's one that says free bird on it, so that means anything in the basket is up for grabs.
Thank you.
Freebird was a song.
That was a burrito place.
I thought it was a
burrito
place.
Katie, would you and Audrey like one to scratch off?
Need a penny?
Snack.
Okay, now, as I'm closing with this, I'm gonna pass the, who got the $100 one? Mrs. Spurlock will take care of that after the meeting. There are snacks in here and then there's candy, there's gum, and these are the mints. So the one that said Lifesavers, guess what? It's hard to find Lifesavers at the store nowadays. So these are Lifesavers in the jar. So just pass the basket around, pick something out, whatever. I don't know what you actually scratched off, so if you want something else, you can pick something else.
Mine says 1 month's respite.
Hey, that's fine.
Yeah, whatever.
That's it. Great idea.
Yeah, the best way to get good ideas, two things. Go to professional developments where teachers are or other people and share, and Google. You can Google anything. So anyway, thank y'all very much.
Thank you.
I have some extras if any of you adults would like one. Oh, Rachel, you want one?
You know I do.
You want one, Sarah?
Here's my pen. Thank you.
You're very welcome. Donovan, would you like one? Okay.
Where's your sense of adventure, Donovan?
Okay, I'll give one to Carolyn.
Okay, that's it. It's all lifesavers. None of us are getting anything.
After that, I can't wait to see.
Mike, Shelley got the $100.
No, she got to go. She got gum.
She goes last next month.
Okay, Mr. Tweedy, hard act to follow.
That's a hard act to follow. I mean, I've got positive thoughts and good vibes. I mean,
To get them out.
exactly, you know what I'm saying? So, one of the things that I wanted to say is, again, kind of piggybacking off of what Joni said, is that I really am happy about what I see in our teachers. Because they are part-time, I see them over and over again extending themselves, giving up time, coming in, being a part of pep rallies, and they are appreciative and they're willing to do it, and they always say, oh, I don't do this for the money, I do it because I care. Now that doesn't mean that they don't want money, but that means that that isn't the driving force of our staff, and I was congratulating them today for how much support they show. And one of the things that I'm really focusing on is the vision within the vision. Right now, I'm really talking about a common language, common practice, and thinking about what we can do as a part-time staff to kind of come together and collaborate. Because it's difficult because people have so many varying schedules, especially at the middle and high school level. So we've come in and we're doing this thing now where we're not meeting for faculty meetings, we're not meeting in the auditorium, we're meeting in each other's classrooms, they're meeting in each other's classrooms. So it's more of a cozy feel, and they're happy to host, and it gives them a sense of pride to say, this is my classroom, I like to show it off. And so, and they're able to see what each other is doing by looking at what they're putting on the walls. I mean, that's vital for teachers to feel like they are contributing by having this time to collaborate. So our meetings now are more about how do we talk about kids, how do we talk about improvement, how do we talk about intervention. And in my newsletters on a weekly basis, one of the quotes or one of the statements I have is, yes, they can, and yes, we can. And so it's really, really great to give them that kind of a positive idea that, yes, our kids, no matter where they're coming from, they're our kids, and yes, they can learn. And then also, yes, we can make a difference in each and every person's life. So I'm really happy about our staff. And especially our secondary teachers, because they have a big job to do to get our kids ready for college. They're up for the challenge, and they're going to professional developments. Our 2 math teachers who teach algebra and their state tested courses took it upon themselves to go to differentiated instruction at Region 10, and I'm very happy about that. And also something that we're increasing, because when I first started here, I was the at-risk coordinator, and we had like one intervention where we had a computer program set up so the kids could go to get more skill exposure. We now have 4 ways to intervene for kids who are having trouble. So I'm really happy to see that we are increasing ways to work with scholars after school. We created a SOAR time, SOAR stands for Eagle Soaring, from 2 to 3 o'clock on Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays. And scholars are coming out, and they're doing this thing where they're coming and they're tutoring. Teachers have stepped up to tutor. We're doing EOC tutoring, and it's really good, and I'm really happy to see our interventions grow, because that is vitally important, especially with a shortened schedule for those kids who aren't doing so well. And then lastly, I took a kind of a survey, I just kind of looked around and I said, wait a minute, we have about a couple graduates who are working in our building now, and I don't think you realize how impressive it is that our scholars who graduate want to come back and work here in the building. That tells you that we have created the kind of commitment in our scholars at the high school level that say, I want to come back, I want to be a part of it. And I've given some of our graduate some extra duties, like how do you kind of manage this in the lunchroom, and we're talking to them, and they are truly rising to the occasion. And I'm just really flabbergasted at how we are creating people who are not creating people, but helping to create the mindset that we want to grow, that we want to be committed, and that we want to be a part of this culture even after they graduate. So I'm really, really happy about that. And with that,
Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you, sir.
You got more candy? Is that
No,
what
I'm
the
gonna
deal
rip
is?
the kids.
Good evening. Welcome to our new board members. Piggybacking onto the teacher evaluations that have been going on, the self-evaluation form mirrors the larger evaluation form that we're using. We're asking them to rate themselves on the same domains. And it's amazing to me how often the way they see their strengths and their weaknesses mirror what the feedback is that they're getting on the evaluation forms from us. And it's important to us that we goal set with them and that they're the ones driving what their goals are, things that they want to work on, so that it really is a very collaborative and very growth mindset process. So that is going on. I want to say that the Giving Tree on the Duncanville campus has multiple trees. We have a tree for every grade level and for every
special segment, like PE has a tree, and special programs has a tree, intervention has a tree. And we have 20 teachers participating, and over half of our tags have been accounted for already. So we're excited about our pack and our parents coming to love on our teachers and show appreciation to them. Book fair is this week on our campus. We try to have book fair coinciding with events that we know parents are going to be on the campus for. So our first music program for the end of the semester is Thursday. If you're available, K through 2 is Thursday night at 6 o'clock. Y'all come on over. 3rd through 6th grade will be on Thursday the 29th, whatever that last Thursday is in the 29th, after Thanksgiving. So we invite y'all to come on over and be a part of that. We have Turkey Trot this Friday. Our PE teacher likes to have special events where they invite parents to come on campus and participate in PE with their children, and Turkey Trot is one of them. He's figured out that if you walk around the athletic field 6 times, that is however many miles it is, and you get a little sticker with a turkey on it that says that you turkey trotted, in the same way that you get a sticker that says you voted. So we invite parents to come and participate with their kids. We'll do it again at Christmas, the Jingle Bell Run, and then he does one in the spring that is kites. So we invite you to come to Kite Day. We'll let you know when that's going to be. We have a parent on our campus, one of our students' parents, that is the director of Parks and Recreation for the city of Duncanville. And they've invited us to participate in the Duncanville Christmas Parade this year. So we are trying frantically, it's December 7th, so we only have a couple of weeks, trying frantically to put something together so that we can make a good showing and get our name out into the community of Duncanville in a really purposeful and impactful way. So please know that we are on board with the push of marketing. I talked to Julie Nicholson today about her ideas of how we can get our brand out there through this event. So we're excited about that.
Can you put your your phone number on the parade? I mean, on something?
I haven't seen anything that says we can't. We have taken
Call for enrollment?
Right.
Join us?
We've taken the banner that they used, one of the banners that they used at the pep rally, and it has now made its way to the Duncanville campus. There are also some foam core boards that say things like hashtag Eagle Pride or hashtag you and me at UME. We're going to carry those things.
Do you need a truck?
We do.
I'll let you borrow my truck.
And so we would need a driver for that truck as well.
Do you need- we have
But
a
if you
driver.
have do you have a flatbed to go with it, or are we just looking at truck? Come talk to me after, because we're definitely looking at ideas. But we want to make sure
make that
that we
happen.
participate in that event. I told you last time that we were doing Principal for a Day, and I thought I would tell you the couple of highlights from each of those events, the cutest things that happened. Or we had a sibling win the prize, so we did one Friday and one the next Friday. The 3rd grader, his 2 cutest feedbacks to the teachers were, the teacher looked like she was ready to help everyone, which I thought was a great thing for him to say. And he said about the students, they were not rushing their answers on their tests. And so I thought he was a very thoughtful observer of what was going on in his rooms. The kindergartner made new rules. And what she said was, there needs to be more time for recess, more time for reading, and here's the rule. If the teacher isn't around, students should do what is right. And I thought that was really great. So because that's the kind of young man and young woman that we're trying to grow up here at UME. So thank you for your support.
Awesome.
All right.
Okay. Mike?
I'll make it real quick. Is that there always is questions about the Open Meetings Act, and I went through the latest training on Open Meetings Act, and it can change up to every time the legislation is in session because it affects every state meeting. And so anyway, I've asked Joe Hopper to come down and train the board again on Open Meetings Act, which he will get credit for because he's a accredited person. So Joe will come down. Joe has people on the staff that are experts in Open Meetings Act, as he does almost every other type of legal situation.
Do you have any idea when this might be?
He is, it's really, he was suggesting December, but you don't have a meeting in December, so we can do it around whatever meeting you want to do. If you want to do it in January or February, whatever you want to do. It takes about an hour to do, but you got, everybody says they're an expert, and there are very few, so he's coming down. We've engaged him to do that. that's essentially mine. It's your
Oh,
turn. Your turn.
new board member orientation. We had orientation before we came in here. That's why we were late. I apologize. It was my fault. It was very, very good. We have we have 6 that need orientation. We had 4 present. 2 that are not here are actually sick. One's in the hospital and the other one is ill. So we will pick them up. We went through the website and all the things they need to do on the website, and then talked about the orientation. And they will get an introduction to the Open Meetings Act on the training that they are required to have for being on the board. So that will be good too. And we kind of have a setup now, an agenda now for new orientation for anyone else coming on board.
Excellent. Okay. All right. And the last item is for me, and that is we met. We closed our last meeting in a closed session where we discussed our new superintendent's contract. That has been presented to our superintendent, and we just need to approve what we discussed in our closed meeting. And so I'm going to ask for if I have a motion to accept. Motion. Second. Drew seconds. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
And that is approved. And Kayla, you got the ship now.
Woohoo!
The other thing too is that her agreement is one of the few agreements that gets posted on the webpage.
Okay.
So everything is open about everything that's in there, and so I just want you to be aware. We went by the numbers. She's done a great job.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you for
Great. All right, and y'all, I'm sorry to say that is the end.
I want the last word. I want the last word. And I want to tell you how thrilling it is to have this board in place. You're at full complement of 11. You are fantastic. I've already got to work with some of you already in my limited capacity, but you all are fantastic. And we talked about this, the strength of this school. The biggest strength to me is the board and the families and the students. But this is a fantastic board. I'm glad you're on it. We'll be blessed by it. And again, thank you, thank you, thank you. You're higher than I am, you can.
You know, we talk about the faculty and the staff and what they're doing. Mr. Connor was at the Deerwoods, and he called me and said, turn on the television and look at you.
Oh, it was fabulous.
It was amazing. I happened to be in the car, so television wasn't an option. But to have someone that doesn't come to the meetings and we don't talk about it a lot, you know, that type of thing, for him to see that and to call, and I thought that was amazing. And my hats off to everyone that is involved. Amazing thing.
I thought it was amazing too, and I emailed it to several of my family members. I was so proud of it and so excited to see all the things. And what I was the most proud of, for anyone that didn't see it, which probably everyone in here did, was the interviews of the students and how well they interviewed.
Yeah, they sure did.
And I'm thinking, who in the world was coaching all these
You know
students?
what, we did not prep them.
I asked, and I did
James
that.
did say, they knew that they were
This
going
was
to talk.
fabulous student
But they
interviews.
didn't know exactly what that person was gonna ask them. They did not know.
They were,
Ahead of time.
that was what was so fabulous about it, was the student interviews. It was awesome, wasn't it?
It really was.
It was
I
awesome.
was so touched just being there,
Oh, man.
just watching it, and the pride of our school, you know, and the whole community now seeing that. So fantastic and perfect timing, honestly.
It
You know,
was.
perfect timing as we're
timing.
thinking about this new building.
It was awesome.
Absolutely.
And with that, we're 1 minute. If you kept
Man,
me quiet, you made
right,
it.
right. Okay, y'all,
We started.
we are adjourned, so thank all of you for coming.
All right.
All right, thank you.
Hey, I need all the board members
Thanks.
to see Carolyn before you leave. She needs your signature on something.
Jason, hang on one second. Lacey wants something else.
Yeah, Lacey says she's texting me